From Jeff Monson, who's got an amazing record, to Rampage Jackson, who's like a werewolf on the hunt when in the octagon, the UFC has some of the scariest fighters out there. Starting off, it's Jeff Monson. Monson, a formidable force in the world of combat sports, is a heavyweight fighter with a pretty impressive record. He's famous for his exceptional grappling skills and has earned his place among the top grapplers in the world today. The guy has repeatedly showcased his prowess in prestigious competitions like the Abu Dhabi Combat Club. That's where he has secured multiple wins, leaving his opponents in awe. But Monson's dominance extends beyond the grappling mat. In mixed martial arts, he has proven himself as a true warrior and has triumphed over renowned fighters such as Travis Fulton, Sergey Karatanov, Jason Gita, Roy Nelson, and Rico Rodriguez. Plus, let's not forget his unrelenting determination combined with his technical expertise.
So it was, it's always unexpected when you get it, even though you've been expecting it in a while. So it was nice being back. If you're not on TV, nobody knows you're fighting.
These have earned him a well-deserved reputation, and if his fighting skills weren't intimidating enough, just one look at Monson is enough to send shivers down your spine. With a formidable presence and a stern gaze, he gives off an aura of raw power and intensity that demands respect. It's clear that Monson is not to be taken lightly, and facing off against him in the ring would surely be a daunting challenge for any opponent. Whether it's grappling or MMA, Jeff has undoubtedly made his mark as one of the most fearsome competitors in the combat sports world.
I don't know about making a pretty good living. You can survive if you fight a lot, but it's no way to live really, because you're fighting basically from fight to fight, trying to live.
But he's not the only scary fighter in the UFC, because there's also Damacio Page. Page is a pint-sized powerhouse in the UFC's bantamweight division. Don't let his size deceive you. This scrappy competitor may be small in stature, but he packs a mighty punch, and standing opposite him in the cage is no small feat. Page has fearlessly taken on some of the best fighters in the bantamweight division, showcasing his unwavering determination and grit. He has faced some setbacks, often coming out on the losing end against the upper-level bantamweights. But Page's willingness to step into the cage with formidable opponents is a testament to his warrior spirit. Despite his losses, Page has faced some of the most formidable fighters in the sport. He has gone head-to-head with the likes of Demetrius Johnson, one of the greatest fighters in UFC history, in a valiant effort. He has also squared off against Brian Bowles twice, displaying his unwavering tenacity even in the face of defeat. Not to mention, he has also secured a win against Scott Jorgensen, which just goes to show he isn't afraid to go up against anyone.
19 of my wins, 11 are by knockout. I put people to sleep, that's what I do. Hopefully, I do continue this in the UFC as well.
Though, there's another fighter deserving of being on this list. Yep, it's Kimbo Slice. He's an enigmatic figure in the combat sports world, and has had a diverse career that's left many scratching their heads. Is he a professional boxer? Well, that didn't quite pan out. How about a professional wrestler? Nope, an unfortunate injury sidelined that venture. But one thing is for sure. At one point or another, Kimbo Slice was a force to be reckoned with as a mixed martial artist, and a total nightmare for many of his opponents.
I'll just wait till I get asked the question.
Okay, Dada?
Listen, I thank each and every one of you guys.
You fool! Shut up, man.
Man, listen.
You ain't got to say.
Listen, bro, I got something
You
for
look like in your training yesterday. Nothing you can do can't hurt me, bro.
Slice made waves when he joined Season 10 of The Ultimate Fighter. Although he didn't win the show, he caught the attention of UFC President Dana White, earning himself a spot in the organization. He made his UFC debut with a unanimous decision victory over Houston Alexander, though the fight was largely uneventful. But his next bout did not go as planned, as he was TKO'd by Matt Mitrione in the second round, leading to his release from the UFC. Despite the ups and downs in his career, one thing remained certain when fighters went up against him: they were definitely shaking in their boots. His intimidating presence and relentless fighting style made him a dangerous threat. And while I'm on the subject of scary fighting styles, I may as well mention this next fighter. It's Ramo Thierry Sokoudjou. Sokoudjou was definitely an absolute badass when it comes to the light heavyweight division.
I just think the training was right, everything was right, but it was just one of those days, a bunch of those days where you go, you get your butt kicked, and then, I'm not gonna give any excuse saying went too fast or anything, It's just I trained hard, had a great camp, and I just got my butt kicked. I just got to make sure it never happens again.
With an impressive background in judo, he has achieved numerous championships, showcasing his exceptional skills on the mat. But Sokoudjou doesn't stop at judo. He has faced off against some of the best fighters in the cage, with notable victories over big names like Antonio Rogerio Nogueira, Ricardo Arona, and others. He showed that he's definitely one of the scariest names in the UFC. Maybe what made him even more terrifying was that, even in the face of defeat, his determination was evident as he continues to push the limits and make a name for himself in the world of mixed martial arts. That said, this list wouldn't be complete without mentioning this next fighter. Yup, it's Rampage Jackson. He's a former UFC light heavyweight champion and current UFC light heavyweight. And let me tell you, he's no small fry. I mean, his nickname itself strikes fear into the hearts of opponents. His walkout, stare down, pre-fight attire, and the post-fight victory celebration exudes an intimidating force that sends chills down the spine. But it's not just his presence that is daunting. Rampage's howl after a win is reminiscent of a ferocious werewolf who has just claimed its prey, leaving spectators in awe and fear. And if you think his aggression is limited to the cage, think again. Fans who watched him on Season 10 of The Ultimate Fighter know that he has a reputation for destroying doors with his sheer power. Rampage's viciousness inside the cage is undeniable, and his ferocity is matched only by his legendary persona. With a combination of raw power, striking ability, and an unrelenting spirit, Rampage Jackson is easily one of the most fearsome and awe-inspiring fighters in the world of MMA today. But the UFC has no shortage of scary AF fighters, like this next example. Yup, it's Shane Carwin. Carwin is a former UFC interim heavyweight champion and current UFC heavyweight. Standing at an imposing 6 foot 2 inches and cutting weight to make the 265-pound limit, he's an absolute wrecking ball of a man. Shane is best known for unleashing relentless punishment on his opponents. In most of his victories, Carwin has left a trail of destruction in his wake, beating each of his opponents to hell and back. While he may have some submissions on his record, don't be fooled. Carwin doesn't just rely on grappling skills. One of his submissions came from a devastating barrage of punches, while the other two were rear naked chokes and guillotine chokes. Those were likely after he had already battered his opponents into submission. Carwin's sheer power and aggression are evident in his fights, and he's come tantalizingly close to victory on multiple occasions. In fact, he was just seconds away from stopping the Lesnar fight, if only his cardio had held up a little longer. But with his determination and skill, it's no surprise that Carwin is expected to work his way back up the heavyweight rankings and earn another shot at the title. Finally, it's the name that I'm sure most people have been waiting for. It's Brock Lesnar. Come on, like I could ever forget about the notorious Lesnar in this lineup. This dude is a straight-up wrecking machine in the UFC heavyweight division. Lesnar snatched that belt with a brutal TKO over Randy Couture, and then defended it with more TKO carnage against Frank Mir and a submission win over Shane Carwin. Sure, he had a rough patch with a defeat to Cain Velasquez, but even in defeat, Lesnar remains a scary threat. Just picture it, this towering 6 foot 3 inch beast of a man, cutting weight to make the 265-pound limit, stepping into the cage. It's enough to intimidate even the toughest of opponents. His sheer size and power, alongside his reputation for being brutal, make him an absolutely scary foe, and one that's worthy of being on this list. But those are just some of the scariest fighters in the UFC.